أو كما قال. Whoever doesn't thank people doesn't thank Allah. So we first start by thanking Brother Saleh and Sister Hawa on behalf of our teachers and students as well. I'm here just to summarize or to talk about our thought as teacher on behalf of my fellow teachers here. First of all, we are very, very happy today that our guest came here and they are speaking to these kids here in the language that they understand. Most of the time, we have never been in this position before. Once we try to ask one person to come here and deliver a speech for madrasa students, because we know that they need to speak to somebody who will speak their tongue. And this gentleman, first of all, we have to book for appointment for him, and also he asked to be paid £500, so we couldn't do it. So we are very happy today. Out of nowhere today, we get this good guest here, good Sheikh, we have benefited a lot in terms of nasiha. Brother Nasir here has given you students in particular a lot of advice and nasiha. So we ask Allah that you are going to work on this nasiha, because at the end of the day, if you stick to at least one of his advice, you are going to see massive change in your life as Muslim. I'm going to ask Sheikh ZULFIKER to give us advice. We are teachers here. If he thinks, because he knows how things work here, and at the moment he is living outside of this country. So if Sheikh, you've got any advice to teachers, to us, please, we would like to hear that advice. Also, I could hear some ustadas there was there, female teachers, they try to contain they were about to cry when Sheikh said, we met your Ramadan today. We are very humbled to hear this from you. Also, you said we are very special. We didn't think that it will go this far. We are very humbled to hear this kind of comments coming from people like yourself. So we are very humble, and we are about to cry for your comments that you gave to us. We are very appreciating it, even though we don't think that we've got the ability to make you feel as special. But alhamdulillah, we are trying according to the means that we have. One last thing that I would like to ask Sheikh ZULFIKER. This is the first time in my 12-year attachment with this madrasa that I hear somebody giving one of our students ijaza, and with exact numbers. So I just wanted to confirm, will Sister Raya here and colleagues, will they be number 18 or 17? 18.
18 or 19, yes.
18 or 19, inshallah. This is very good for us. We've never get something like this. This is very special for us. So I'm going to stop here and wait for those sincere nasiha from you, Sheikh ZULFIKER. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Like I said, it is a great honor. It is a great honor being here at this madrasa, which is known as Al-Madrasa NABAWIY. The name of this madrasa is Al-Madrasa NABAWIY.
نعم صح.
You know, I have a very strong attachment to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's masjid. Alhamdulillah, I've been there for over half of my life now. I went there when I was very young. And I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He grants me death in Medina. And I am buried in Baqi. That is a dream of every single Muslim. Firstly, with regards to our teachers, then I would say to our teachers is that I have analyzed many of the problems and detected a lot of the problems that happen in many of the madaris and many of the institutions and many of the masajid. Because like I mentioned to the young boys and girls, that once upon a time I was a boy. That was from here. I was born here. I grew up here. First part of my life was spent in England. So I can reason and understand what you are going through. I also mentioned that I wasn't a bright student. The advice that I have, the nasiha that I have for the teachers is the first thing that the teachers need to focus on when they are teaching their students is al-ikhlas. Sincerity lacks in many of the institutes that I have seen, because many of the institutes either become a 2-hour, 3-hour part-time job For many teachers, they just come, they just teach, and they are not bothered. So, if you are teaching in an institute, then the first thing that a teacher needs, is to be sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remember, there are many acts of ibadah that are done. You could be reading Quran, you could be reading Nawafil Salah. The teacher that comes to teach must believe that this is his ibadah for 2 hours to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this amal is only liwajhillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the first thing. That the amal, that the action of teaching the students, that the tadrees that he sits, should only be for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second thing is that in a lot of the madaris, I was a student and I had a lot of teachers. And I know how a lot of the students feel. Favoritism, preference, the teacher should be equal to all his students, regardless of whether they are smart or whether they are weak, whether they are rich or whether they are poor, or regardless of their color or their background. Equality and treating everybody equal is an amazing character. And I will tell you that I used to have a teacher who used to teach us in India, when I was in India. And his son used to be in our class. But if you wanted to take permission, you would need to write a letter. A parent would need to write a letter to ask for permission for that student to leave the class. He used to be the parent, and he would write the letter in the evening, give it to his son, and say, tomorrow give it to me when I am your teacher. So the next day that his son would come, he knows this is the father, and he would give him the letter. Where do you want to go? Why do you need to go? What does your father need? And he is the teacher. So equality is very important. The other thing is punctuality. Punctuality has a very important, al-muwadaba, like they say, or indibat, is very important for a teacher. The teacher must show consistency. One of our teachers says, the good teacher is that teacher that arrives 5 minutes before the class starts and leaves 5 minutes after everybody has left. A teacher who does this is the successful teacher. Indibat is very important. Slackness in any form of this will have a great impact and a negative effect upon the education of the children. The other thing I always say is, during these hours, any form of distraction, that means in this al-madrasa NABAWIY, mobile phones should not be used by teachers.
No.
If I have a madrasa and if I am being put in charge, I will not allow the teachers to come with their mobile phones. We will put an office phone. If your family or somebody is in need of contacting you, tell them to phone that phone. We will call them and let you speak. No mobile phones. Mobile phones, you see the teachers, many of them, they are playing on their mobile phones while the teachers are, while the students are reading Quran and this and that. This is another very important point that I would like. One of my teachers said once, he said the success of a good madrasa relies upon 3 things. If you want to see any madrasa, then if you want to see that madrasa to flourish and be successful, then there are 3 things which are very important. And the Prophet ﷺ's madrasa, which was al-madrasa NABAWIY, it had all 3 things. The first thing that the madrasa needs is a good teacher. And what do we mean by a good teacher? We mean by a good teacher that if the teacher is good in reciting the Quran, then he should only teach Quran. He should not teach anything else. If the teacher is good in teaching hadith, then he should only teach hadith. If the teacher is good in teaching fiqh, then he should only teach fiqh. So the first thing that you need is a good teacher. The second thing that you need is a very good curriculum. The curriculum of many of the madaris that I have seen is really bad. The curriculums are all over the place. Knowledge of Islam comes with tadarruj, with stages. You have to give small doses to the children. Sometimes you have children of different ages, children of different levels. So that the curriculum is very important. The muqarrar or the manhaj is very important for the madrasa, that it should constantly be revised. And there should be a lajna or a committee that is set up that revises the different books that are taught to see the success rate. Maybe this book is feasible in this madrasa, but it won't be feasible in another madrasa. You can't just copy and say, because this madrasa is teaching this book, we are going to teach this book, because the students are different. the level of the students are different. So the manhaj is very important. And the third thing is the student. The student that come to study at the madrasa, they should be disciplined. Before teaching them knowledge, you should teach them adab. As the Salaf used to say, as Imam Ahmad's son was said, that before we went to seek knowledge, we went to sit with the ulama to learn adab. So there should be a code of conduct in this madrasa. The things, a dress code, when the children, if we are allowing and are ready and are happy that when we go to school there is a uniform, there should be a uniform for the madrasa. The uniform is not something which is sunnah, but it is a landmark, or it is an identity for a Muslim. I don't say that this is a sunnah, because the taqaleed and the adat of the people differ. The Prophet ﷺ did not say that you have to wear a thawb. The Prophet ﷺ did not say. That which is obligatory is to cover your satar, but it's an identity, that which we are known by. So with these three things, one of our teachers said, he said most of the madaris you will find that they will have a good curriculum and they will have bad teachers. Or they will have good teachers but they will have bad students. If these three things are focused upon. And the other thing I would say, and my nasiha or my iqtirah, is that the Sahaba used to say that we used to teach our children Iman before we used to teach them Quran. Sheikh al-Islam Muhammad ibn Wahhab rahimahullah has a beautiful book which is called Ta'lim al-Sibyan al-Tawheed, teaching children al-Tawheed. This is the first book I say in every single madrasa anywhere in the world should be taught to the students. That any student that comes before he's even taught Alif Ba Ta Tha should be taught this book. That he knows about Iman and he knows when he knows about Allah and Allah's Messenger, then he will have the love for learning the Quran. Otherwise, if he's just put in the madrasa that he must learn Quran, he will not know the importance. And Shaykh al-Islam wrote this book for small children. As many of you do not know, but does anybody know how old was Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab when he got married? Anybody? He was 12 years old. At the 12 years old, he was a grown man. And his father got him married. Yeah. So this is the type of students that we want. Yeah. At the age of 13, 14, he was a scholar. His father saw the traits of a man in him. Today, a 12-year or 13-year-old boy, he just knows how to play PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. Doesn't know nothing. This is the problem. So this is the very most. So I will make iqtira of this book, and if the teachers of this institute want this book, then inshallah bi'idhnillahi ta'ala we will provide this book. Also, with regards to this madrasa, in terms of books or in terms of masahif or in terms of anything that I am able to do so to help and assist, then I am ready inshallah. I will send books for this institute. Like I said now, that I have been to many madrasas with many different names. But when I heard Al-Madrasa Nabawiyya, this has caught my heart today. Yeah? So inshallah, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, there's a lot of books which I sent to England, to a lot of the institutes, for teachers, for students. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, Al-Madrasa Nabawiyya will be on my priority list, and will be there inshallah. We'll be cooperating bi'idhnillahi ta'ala with the last thing which you mentioned with regards to the ijazah. Then I will clarify that the ijazah is something which is you can say, an honor for the Muslim ummah. The Prophet, one of the ulama, he said that this ummah has been given three things which no other ummah was given before. I'rab of the Quran, nasab, and ijazah. Ijazah is something that the knowledge which we learn can be traced back all the way back to the Prophet ﷺ. So when the Prophet ﷺ taught the companions, he spoke, the companions listened. And then they taught their students. And then they taught their students. And then they taught their. So there is a transmission. There is a line of transmission, a chain of transmission that is going by. If you're part of that chain, then you have the pure knowledge. If you're not part of that chain, then you don't have the pure knowledge. And this still continues till this day, and it will continue till the day of judgment. Like I said, since the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and now there is one of our teachers, he has 17 people between him and the Prophet ﷺ. So what do you do with the ijazah? The ijazah is of many types. One type of ijazah is just the ijazah of hearing, just like we did now. One type of ijazah is for listening and narrating. One type of ijazah is for listening, narrating and teaching. That is the last ijazah. that ijazah is only given to those people who are at advanced level. But somebody who narrates the hadith and a teacher hears it, then that teacher can give him permission. But now you can be part of that. Now every time you narrate this hadith, you have narrated it to me, I have narrated it to my teacher, and my teacher has narrated it back to his teacher. So now you have a chain going back to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Jazakallahu khair.
إن شاء الله سنقف هنا بالسريع لنوصل لصلاة الظهر.